Corey ready. And
to me, they're like house plants that shit in your house. I'd rather just have a house.
that's about as far as it goes.
I can lean forward.
Okay.
That sounds fine.
All right, you ready?
We're doing sound checks. Am I sounding okay?
You're good.
You're good right there.
It's great. Great. Everybody else bailed?
Yeah, I know.
They're eating.
It was pizza time.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Can't you tell I hate you?
She'll go to sleep. Hopefully. Or go put her in the boys'
Give the
room if
dog
you
some
want
attention, man.
to. She's like, there's somebody new.
Is that what you do with dogs? What do you do?
How do you hold them?
Anthony.
It's like kids.
You gotta take the lady.
The lady.
She'll cry if she's in the room. So all right.
To go to bed with her.
Aww.
What
are you
Hold her
doing?
tightly until she sleeps.
Not.
But be careful. Don't hold her too tightly. Oh, she heard that.
She knows you're talking about her.
She's like, you making killing me jokes? That's not cool.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Go put it on. Corey?
I'm ready.
Oh, is it already recording?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we got all that? All that,
we
all
have
that
you.
dog killing humor? That's solid gold.
Welcome back to our. This is 4.
This is
No,
our- this is
you
our
just
5.
finished your 4th hour.
We just finished 4, so this is our 5.
Yes.
Okay, jeez.
Jesus.
Yeah, we've been doing it a long time.
I hope you guys lose count and you go to like 9 before you realize
Good
it.
thing I
Wait, what? Where are we?
Good thing I label these things.
Yeah. Well, it's not only are we doing it for charity, we're counting down to our 100th episode, so that'll be.
Woo.
Yeah, woo.
Very cool.
It's the most consistent I've been with anything in my life.
Oh, that's great.
So
Sorry,
Marriage
Katrina.
not going so well. Then.
Yeah.
we're it's fallen off the map
Thanks.
a little bit.
It's still going. It's just very inconsistent.
Yeah. So welcome back. Our guest this episode is, I guess we won't draw it out this time like we did last time. It's Robert Kirkman.
Hey-o.
Woo!
Such enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I am blown away.
Where's the applause, guys? There we go.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it.
I think pizza's more important.
Still a bit of a come
Food.
down after
Comic-Con?
being at Comic-Con for a week.
How was your con?
That's fine. Oh, it was fun.
Yeah?
It's good. It's a little tiring.
I can imagine, man, because, I mean, just going there, it's tiring, but you got to go from panel to booth to signing to panel. You signed for like 3 hours on Wednesday.
I'll let you believe that. I signed for 2.
Oh, well,
Felt like 3. I'll tell you though, I usually do a 1-hour signing, but I was like, you know what? Let's knock it out. Wednesday night, first day of Comic-Con. It'll be fun. We'll do a bigger signing, and they came up to me, and I was like, about an hour into the signing, I was like, this is going great. This is going great. And I was like, what time is it? How we doing? We moving through the line quick enough? Like, how's it going? And they were like, yeah, you're 20 minutes in. And I was like, 20 minutes in?
That's all?
What? I thought it'd have been an hour.
Nice.
I was like, this is going to be terrible. But yeah, it went well.
Good.
How's your wrist?
Oh, I mean, my signature is so effortless and terrible that my wrist never hurts.
Okay, I got a comment about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I've heard you say it before.
Yeah, it's awful.
And I waited for Donnie Cates.
Oh, yeah, is his terrible? Is his worse?
I can't read any. I mean, both you guys. I can't read any letters.
I can show you which letters are which in my signature, but I'm sure Donnie's is just a illegible scribble.
Well,
of
also
nonsense.
when you have that guy's got like 10 books coming out a month right now. He's all over the place.
Something like that.
Yeah. He apologized to Parker, my oldest, because he didn't have any kids' books when we got up to the front. And I was like, yeah, that's okay, man. It's okay if you don't write any kids' books.
The pink hair is enough.
Yeah, right? That was bright. But, yeah, the Insiders meetup we went to, and we saw you there, and
That was fun.
That was fun.
yeah. That was a blast. Yeah, my brother was there with us and stuff, and he wanted to, Anthony wanted to say, when you started talking about, somebody asked a question about Breaking Bad and meth, and you said something, and you looked at my son, and you're like, well, meth is, and
It's a street drug.
and both Anthony and I both kind of went, because I'm gonna hit you with some sad facts. Our mom is a meth addict.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
we were both
Congratulations.
like, ugh.
Oh, this is
We cornered you on it.
it's fantastic. This is a
Family business.
long line of me
Putting your foot in your mouth.
just in just the most horrific ways.
It's
just the worst. I was doing your mama jokes to a guy. I'll tell this story. Having second thoughts. And my it was a mutual friend, but I didn't know him very well. And our mutual friend was very close. I had known him for many, many years. And so our mutual friend is going, yeah, Robert, stop. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. And he's like, yeah, no, his mom's dead. And I'm like, I don't believe it. I'm making your mom jokes. It's just, I'm going to keep going. You're not going to get me to stop because you're telling me mom's dead. I'm not falling for that one. And I keep going. And I'm glad that I've lost the audience already. And they're like, no, seriously, his mom's still dead. I'm like, no, he's not. No, it's not. She's fine. Stop it. And he pulls me aside and he's like, no, dude, seriously, his mom died at his 12th birthday party.
Oh,
she was pouring Kool-Aid for him. And embolism, or aneurysm, I don't know what it popped in her brain. She fell over dead in front of him.
Oh god!
Holy crap!
Yeah, and so I poured red Kool-Aid on him and I left. But no, and of course I was like, oh well, there's no going back from this. So I'm very sorry, but I do this often, is what I'm trying to say. Not meaning to, but I find myself often in situations where I'm like, ooh, I wish I hadn't said that.
No, I mean,
you'd think I would learn from it.
Yeah, because how long have you been doing these Q&As now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Forever.
15 years? A while?
You get anything? You buy anything for yourself at the con? Anything cool?
Not really.
No.
I don't know. I got most of the Transformers I'm looking for, and the ones that they have there are usually all beat up.
Yeah. It seemed like kind of a light year. Like we were walking around on Saturday, and it just didn't seem like we've talked about it ad nauseum almost on this podcast today, but it seems like it just wasn't as busy of a year.
Yeah, I mean, definitely word on the street, as they say, is that it was a somewhat down year. I think it was like easier to get into Hall H, easier to do this, easier to do that. So,
yeah, they said all the panels were walk-in, and then my brother tried to get into the Flash panel, and they turned him away.
He couldn't go.
He's the only one out of the 150,000 people that didn't get into the panel they wanted.
Probably just didn't like the way he looked.
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah.
What did they say? Your hair looks like a duck butt?
Yeah, duck butt hair.
Oh. That's exciting.
Nice.
I ain't even mad.
They got something going on.
I'm not
Some
mad.
chick loves ducks out there.
So, I'm going to ask another question like we asked last time.
Please.
You were on here,
Great.
and this came up. What? You didn't know I was going to ask this question?
I didn't do anything. I was just looking in your direction.
Like you said, the
Got your
marriage isn't going so well, apparently.
Somebody sleeping on the couch.
I sleep on the
He
couch
sleeps on the
most of
couch all the
anyways.
time. Not
Nice.
because of me.
But that's out of a respect thing. I toss and turn, and I don't want to keep her up, so I go
Yeah.
onto the couch.
I believe it.
No, that's not how it works. You winked at me.
I get you.
Anyways, so last time we
You
asked...
sneaking in at night when he's on the couch? Is that what that link is for?
That's funny.
Honey, I'm tossing and turning again. Anyway.
So we asked you a sitting standing question last time, and I'm
Yes.
sure you remember.
Oh, yeah, I know. I remember. I was very proud of that moment.
Yeah, it was good. So we were talking on the podcast. I don't know how much later, and I was going to the bathroom, and we were talking about it again for some reason. So,
During it? Like while you're in the bathroom?
No.
yeah, I take the mic. In there.
God.
Yeah, Katrina and I talk through the door as I go to the bathroom.
Welcome to Bathroom Talk.
So we had a conversation. And this isn't for it's. We were discussing how we peed, and Corey
Usually with my penis.
That works the best.
does it, Katrina?
Apparently, that's what I hear.
I think actually it does. You can go anywhere. You can stand up. You can sit down.
Have you seen those
stand on your
sheepy
hands.
things?
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
People are crazy.
People are crazy.
Well, Corey goes through the fly, through the hole in the underwear, and I go over the band
Yeah, at a
and
urinal.
unzip at a urinal.
You go through the...
Yeah. And I didn't know anybody goes up and over, as that's what the fly is there for.
Well,
That's what...
I've always thought, like, it's weird that they do these flies because I don't think anyone actually goes through them.
Yeah.
You now have met somebody who has
But,
gone
yeah,
through.
no, it's,
I
I'm
have-
gonna unzip up and over.
Yes,
yeah.
okay,
Up
thank
and
you.
over?
See, he told me that he
I
asked a
thought
bunch of
everyone.
people, yeah,
I thought everyone was.
and said nobody did that, and I actually buy no fly underwear, so there's no getting out of there, so I can't even do that.
Yeah.
I think you're
You
living in the...
No, you turn your underwear around, don't you?
Yeah,
You have
that's
easy
what I
access
do,
the other way.
so I don't...
Sometimes I do pants around my knees and down the leg of my underwear. So I put my pants all the way down to my knees, and then I release the beast through the legs of my underwear at a urinal.
I heard somebody tell me
that
this,
flies.
that old guys will pull up their shorts and go out the side, and I didn't believe it. And then
I'm totally kidding. I've never done
The
that.
balls are down one side, and the
no,
Yeah.
the old guys, like, he works at a gym, and they'll pull out the side, and they'll go. I mean, I guess you don't have to adjust anything.
I've done that in a
point.
pair of swim trunks, so you don't have to unzip or undo the tie around your waist and stuff.
yeah.
I guess.
Valid reason, but we just go in the.
Well, I mean, you
pool.
might pee on your knee a little bit, but I mean, you're swimming, so who cares?
Well, this whole conversation started by we didn't know the other existed, but I was peeing and I my belt flipped in front and I splashed myself for the first time in the
You got a little whiplash.
34 years I've been
That's no fun.
alive. No, so that's how the conversation came up.
And your belt's fastened because you're through the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That seems like you got to do a lot of fishing.
Like that'd be more difficult.
No, yeah, like Robert made it sound like it could be very difficult. Like you spend 15 seconds fishing for it, but no, it's a one quick motion. It's
Do you reach in through the front? Is that how it goes?
yeah, you kind of just reach and grab and have at it, man. You should try it.
What about zipper contact?
That's what I was thinking too.
No, unless you have very tight pants.
Or if you have a pencil dick.
yeah, you don't rub against the zipper at all.
Okay.
I've never had an issue. I've never had a whiplash or a zip up issue.
I can
Okay.
almost understand if you're wearing like boxers because they just have the one slit. But if you're wearing like boxer briefs, the overlap is like 2 inches. So you got to like, there's like
It's not as all technical as all that.
you
It's
guys
not-
can't see me, but I'm grabbing one side, not of my crotch.
don't have to
He's making the Superman opening his shirt
Yes,
motion.
exactly. Like you do.
You
that.
don't have to use two hands unless you just want to pretend like you're showing off.
So you don't use two hands.
No,
Okay.
one hand's up in the air.
See now Alan came in from the side and said depends on what you're wearing. I think he's just trying to defend his.
I do both. If I'm wearing something where it's tucked in. or my
You
dress clothes, I
what's
can
tucked in?
fly.
The shirt.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
If you're like in like business,
Then you got to fish around the shirt too.
Yeah.
I'll do it that way. I won't insist.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. Like we had never talked about it, so we didn't know the other existed. And I could see by the look on your face, you didn't know that. What's that called?
I thought the fly in your underwear. I thought that was just there for show.
Just for
Hey,
fun.
check this out.
Just for fun.
Window shopping.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nice.
Designs.
Hey, ladies,
Window shopping.
Like what you see?
That was at hide stuff. Tuck stuff in there.
Yeah, there's that pocket you were talking about. Anyways,
A cock pocket.
you got me way off guard.
You're the one who brought this up.
Just wait until they start putting like wires in your underwear. That's fun.
So we hold up balls so they don't sag like bras. We're gonna have the ball
That might
wire.
help later in life.
Yeah.
I'm there. It's not a good
And
situation.
they stick in your skin and cut you. It's really fun.
What are you looking at me all weird for?
Nothing.
That's his normal face.
Yeah.
We kind of went off the rails last time you were here. I guess.
I'm glad we're not doing that this time.
Yeah, we've
Uh,
changed our ways.
and we didn't get to talk about
Is it
Oblivion song
me?
at all.
Am I the problem?
Yeah. Well, you last time. This time you're game for anything, so we just go for it.
Sure.
I'm sure you get a lot of questions that are the same questions over and over.
So
and
we're
over
about to
and
do
over
that again, okay?
Yeah, and I politely answer those questions
Yeah.
without indicating how
He
annoyed I
does.
am.
Yeah. What's the most common question you get? And you don't have to say that you're annoyed with it.
One of the ones that bug me the most are like, remember a specific thing and tell me how common it is. It's like, oh, I can't answer this. But I don't know, man. God, what do you want from me? The worst one is where do you get your ideas, or oh, where'd you come up with this idea, or what? No one knows.
Just comes to you.
It just happens.
Yeah.
yeah. That's a hard one to answer. But
Sure. People ask for spoilers. What's going to happen on the next issue? Can you tell me?
I've done interviews where like it's 6 solid questions of this happened on the show. What happens next? This
Yeah.
happens, and this character did this. What happens next? And I'm like,
Watch
are you
the
really?
show.
You really think I can answer these questions?
Yeah.
Like, holy crap! These are like professional like interview people at like big companies. Hate it.
So what's next? What's coming to...
But please continue to interview me. I appreciate the coverage. But yeah, no.
Ask what you want. I might answer.
But yeah, it's hard to complain about these kind of things though, because
We talked about this on the last podcast, and I kind of wanted to ask you about it. Sure. There was a bar downtown that during Comic-Con ran a promotion that said "Geeks Be Gone," and they were doing a thing where no geeks were allowed to come to the restaurant and the bar.
Okay.
And
Tonight.
For Monday. So
Right.
no geeks today. So
Okay.
the day after Comic-Con, they wanted no geeks, and they were giving like half off drinks, and it was like the promo picture was a man grabbing a woman by the arm, and she was like startled, and it said "Geeks Be Gone" promotion. What?
Already starting off on a bad foot.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
What? Like
What do you think about something like a company doing that the week of the day after Comic-Con?
I guess it's kind of because I know you guys are local to the San Diego area.
Yeah.
Doesn't everyone that live here like hate Comic-Con?
Some of the people downtown, I would think,
Yeah,
because
they're like, oh my god, this whole place is clogged
Yeah.
with people.
But the city
and-
as a whole loves the money that it brings
Sure,
in. And I'm sure the waitresses love getting, or waiters and waitresses love getting the tips that they get for stuff like that, because I mean, it brings up so much money. And it seemed like this year, like, I don't know if you went across the street to the gas lamp.
I actually didn't, but I could see down the street.
It was
often,
nuts.
and
People to people,
It was like,
it was-
holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy. It was crazy.
All the restaurants are full.
Yeah, and you had to walk quite a ways to. Anyways, we didn't get to talk
to-
about
So
a
what,
Broken
so what
Sun
I'm
lesson.
saying is I hate this restaurant that's saying no geeks allowed. What's wrong with them?
No,
Yeah, right.
I walked by them. They had a line, so
They
it
didn't-
didn't deter them.
they
we
didn't.
we
They
actually
were
went
half
in there
full.
twice to see, and the restaurant was half full.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what time
Huh.
you went, but maybe we just went at off time.
It was during the Insider.
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
So-
a weird thing to do these days because pretty much everyone's a geek.
yeah.
You know,
And why would you risk alienating any customer at all? I don't know.
it's true.
It was funny. We were walking in the street, and some guy was like mouthing off about all of us being around, and the girl that was with him was like this, like because she could tell that I could hear him.
Yeah,
Just like, oh my god, these people are gonna hurt us.
we had tickets for these guys to go to the Insiders meetup, and they went Pokemon hunting instead. And we've
Oh
been
my god.
My apologies.
we've been ragging on him.
Hope you guys got a lot of good Pokemons.
Hey, I did.
He did not.
Big waste of your time. Well, you deserve it.
No, the Insiders
Screw
meeting
you,
was
pal.
fun.
Nobody wants to meet Michael Rooker anyway.
He's crazy.
I don't know if he's crazy.
I don't mean
He
it
was
as a
having
bad-
a lot of
certainly
fun.
an animated
Yeah.
nut job. But yeah, no, that was great. I did feel bad. I was disappointed in myself because I came back down the steps.
Yeah,
Because I was finishing my Q&A for anyone who wasn't there, and he just kind of walked up, and I was like, oh, it's pretty close to my Q&A. I'll do this funny gag. And so I said, oh, hey, Michael, can you hold this microphone real quick? And then I ran away, leaving him to have to answer questions. And then I left the Q&A without saying goodbye, which is always kind of funny. And then I went up the steps, and I was like, I can't leave these people with Rooker. And then I came down, and he was harassing your kids. And I was like,
Both of them.
I was like, oh no,
And
what
then
have I done?
What's funny is he brought her up, and he was talking about the kids with her, and she's like, "You need to go." Like they kept trying to like wave him down to get him out, and finally
He had to go meet a bunch of people in the next room.
Yeah,
It's the best.
yeah.
And
He
he's
was
like,
funny.
"What? I have to leave?" Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
they turned off his microphone.
That's great.
They cued the music.
It's because he loves the fans so much.
I kind of wanted to play a game with you. I came up with this game,
Okay, let's do it.
and I wanted to try it out. And we recorded it once, and
Did it go well that time?
The audio
I was
didn't.
pissed. The audio cut out after 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
So I got the explanation of the game, and you read comic books. You're a bit of a geek, right? You like
Sure.
movies. You like
Yeah.
you like stuff.
No, he hates all those things.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So
I'm a big faker.
I wanted you to try to do this.
Okay.
So what we have is we're gonna have a main character here,
all right.
and this one is Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, Sherlock Holmes. I'm
Sherlock
around.
Holmes gets a sidekick and a weapon.
Okay.
So his sidekick is Cartman
Okay.
from South Park,
Yep.
and his weapon is Gandalf's staff,
Okay.
and he has to get tickets to Comic-Con.
Okay.
That's
not gonna happen.
That seems like an easy one for Sherlock Holmes to solve, but I mean, he has Cartman with him.
Yeah, I think Cartman screws all that up.
Yeah,
Even with Gandalf's staff, Sherlock Holmes is not going to be able to get Comic-Con tickets.
but you have
because
to convince us how he's going to.
I have to convince you how he's
Yeah.
going to. Okay.
You want to just do an example one, Robert? You want to do this?
Jeez. Does he use Gandalf's staff to hypnotize Cartman to going and stealing Comic-Con tickets from a nice family for him?
That's pretty good.
That would work.
So what he does?
That would work. I mean, I would buy that.
I don't know if Gandalf's ever hypnotized anybody with that staff.
He's
but
unhypnotized the King of Rohan, right?
I think he uncursed him. or
Smacked him in the
something.
face.
Yeah. So I think
No, it's Gandalf's main power is hypnosis. Every true Lord of the Rings fan knows this.
you didn't know that, Corey.
I'm sure it's in the Silmarillion.
You wanna give us an example, Corey? Well, you could do one too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well,
What's your take?
Like
you get a new one.
Okay.
No,
You get Nathan Drake
From
a
Uncharted.
sidekick.
with Pauly Shore
Oh,
I don't think any of these sidekicks are helping.
with a pistol. They're not supposed to,
No, he's shooting Pauly Shore first. So.
and you have to escape from Shawshank prison.
It's so easy when kill Pauly Shore and just
Yeah. Is there any scenario where he escapes with killing Pauly Shore? The Weasel.
No, you hold the warden at gunpoint and you say, "I'm going to take Pauly Shore with me if you allow."
and
me
he
to
lets you
leave."
leave.
And he's like, "All right, you're free to go."
Yeah.
Excellent.
Knowing Nathan Drake, you find some artifact and you climb some walls and you hop out. You use your magical.
What artifact is he finding in Shawshank?
I don't know. There's something everywhere. It's just it glitters.
Nathan Drake would be able to climb out of a prison.
Yeah, he's got a magic.
Do you like
grappling hook.
Uncharted?
Oh yeah,
Did you watch the Nathan Fillion 15-minute short?
watched a
Okay.
lot of it, and then I was like, "This is 15 minutes long.
It's
I need
15
to-
minutes
I need
long.
to get back to work."
That's
Yeah.
usually how I am when he'll send me a video and I'm like 20 minutes.
You watch
Yeah.
about 3 minutes of it. And like, okay,
Yeah.
I
This
got
one
the
I
gist.
actually watched the whole thing. And that there was that guy with the audio translator guy that did all the accents.
Huh?
Anyways. You want to do one, Katrina?
Sure. Who do I get?
See, this was a debate. I had debated on putting Deadpool in the main characters or the side characters because he's kind of a detriment to
both.
everything that he does.
So yeah, Deadpool.
Deadpool with Zoidberg.
Zoidberg.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, he didn't get a weapon. Sorry, Deadpool doesn't get a weapon. I'm sorry.
Because he has weapons.
You have to save Private Ryan. See that these all seem like easy ones. Feel like he has Zoidberg with him.
And you're- he's stealthy.
Who is
Zoidberg?
Zoidberg?
No, Zoidberg is going to be a distraction. He'll be able to go behind the scenes and snatch him out of there.
So Zoidberg is the distraction.
Zoidberg
Yeah.
from Futurama, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
He's
Why
going to
not
walk around in
Zoidberg?
there and everybody's going to wonder what the hell that thing
Yeah,
is.
he's going to be distracting everyone.
Zoidberg's gonna get shot like right away. If
don't
you saw
think so.
a life-size crab in a doctor,
They're not going to know what it is looking
In
at
the
them
lab
so
coat?
far away.
And it's talking.
They're like, wait, what is that?
Say when they try and capture him.
Is he on my
German
side?
experiment? Yeah, that's actually. Well, then he'd be able to.
The new master race.
And then Deadpool would just kill everybody and snatch him out of there.
Deadpool just go back in time and solve all his problems.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, he has the time travel
They
now
stop
too.
Ryan's 4 brothers from being killed. The end.
I'm gonna do one. We're not gonna do this very long. I just wanted to see how you would respond to one of these. Spider-Man with Toad from Nintendo.
Toad is very useful.
Stay above 55 miles per hour on the bus.
Can he step
Wait,
on
Spider-Man's
Toad?
not getting a weapon?
No, some people get a weapon, some people don't.
Oh, okay.
Because some people are too powerful; they don't need a weapon.
He's got a spidey
Thought
sense.
that Toad is the slowest Mario Kart character.
Yeah, but if he's on the bus, what does it matter?
he's driving.
Spider-Man does his spider senses and.
Yeah, what I'm assuming would happen is Spider-Man would web down I mean, he's a scientific guy. He would know what kind of pressure he would need to put on the gas pedal to make 55 miles an hour, and then he could open the door. Toad could just stay on the bus, and he could shoot web catches to throw all the people off the bus to save them all, and then he could just run the bus into the ocean. That's
And leave Toad
polluting.
on the bus?
If the wheels,
Yeah, and leave Toad on the bus.
if the wheels are
Toad's
spinning
fine.
and it's airborne,
What?
if the wheels are spinning, does it count as the speedometer? Does it keep going up?
I don't know.
So
I
can you-
guess
could you just lift that thing?
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah, just
That was in reverse, putting the miles back on the
slingshot
car.
that between two
Which
buildings.
I don't think works.
No, I thought they went forward to try to reset it to like 6.
nobody can hear you, Brian.
They were,
It was in reverse. They were trying to take the miles off the car.
That doesn't work.
Right. No.
So
it
if you
does not
go
work.
in
That's why it's
reverse,
funny.
if you go in reverse, it doesn't take the miles off the car.
No.
No, every car lot
Yeah,
across
right?
the country
I'm
would
kidding.
just have cars up
you
on.
guys do that in Matilda with like the power drill. Yeah.
I've never seen Matilda.
Well, we need to stop this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Someone.
He
Yeah.
just watched
Needs to
Iron
watch
Giant.
Matilda.
Yeah, so Brian Huntington
Uh-huh.
gave me crap about not seeing Iron Giant. I had never seen it. So a couple nights ago, I watched it with the boys, and Parker ran out of the room crying his
In
eyes
hysterics.
Water.
out. In hysterics. He was so upset.
Great.
Yeah. So I blamed it on him. I was like,
That's
you
good.
piece of
I had to get him out of the room so he could see the end of the movie.
Yeah. He was like, it was bad.
It was really
It was
bad.
really bad.
It's no good. Huntington is childless. Don't listen to him.
I talked with him a lot this week. You see, I had never
Well, there's
seen.
your mistake.
I don't know if I want to keep playing that.
He's a nice enough guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty.
You
good
don't want
guy.
to keep playing the
The
Talking to Brian Huntington game?
Yeah.
I lost the first time I played.
I kind of want to talk to you about Die 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 as well.
Please do.
Everybody's read it already. He doesn't read comics, but I make him read stuff.
Yeah.
You have to read this.
Occasionally I read stuff.
That's good.
What we were talking about earlier about how there is kind of an awareness issue and how they should probably, like, Walmart started carrying DC Comics.
Yeah.
And GameStop has talked about carrying comics.
Yeah.
And I think they should be at movie theaters and stuff too for all these comic book movies that come out, so people could actually, you see a movie like Infinity Wars and you come out and Infinity Gauntlet's there, like a trade, you can, I mean, the more they're out there, the better, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think all those things should be done.
So you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I tried to sneak a little yawn in there, but thanks for pointing that out.
It's a long week, man. We're all tired.
No one's looking at me. It's a podcast. Give me this.
It's been, like I said, we walked like 12, 13 miles a day, and with 2 kids 3 of those days. And
Don't touch that. Don't put your fingers in your mouth.
yeah.
Stop licking
Now,
things.
Friday we went to the Funko party and it was 80s. I wore a lime green polyester suit.
I think I saw that
in
on
sun.
Twitter somewhere.
It was so hot. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
Trying to win more Funko Pops.
And my thing is I shake so many hands that
Ew.
my right hand, I can feel the like layers of like dead cells from other people. Like it feels like I'm wearing like a
Skin
dusty
coat.
flesh oven mitt or something after like an hour.
Oh man.
I'm just like, oh my God. It's like my hand's covered in Cheeto dust. I can't see. But yeah, no offense to people. It's just, you shake 100 hands and it's just grimy.
Next time I see you, I'll just give you the knuckles.
No, it's fine. And then next thing I know, I'm like scratching my eye, and I'm like, it's going into my eyeball.
Like a
I'm getting
conjunctivitis?
sick. I know what's gonna happen.
Pink eye.
But yeah.
What?
And washing your hands.
No, I do. I try to wash my hands like every
He's a nurse.
hour or so. Yeah.
Anytime I'm in a panic about how I'm dying, I start texting him.
Which is on the daily.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's about every
Cool.
day.
Does he make it worse, like WebMD, or does he actually?
Yeah.
He makes it better. He's
that's
like,
good.
you're not dying.
That's good.
So,
Because he doesn't listen to me when I say
of the time,
it.
you're right. You could just say that.
yeah.
Until he's dead.
You're fine.
And then if it dies, what does it matter if he was wrong?
That's true. That is true.
So how long have you had Die 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 in the works, planned in the
A little over 2 years, I think.
2 years?
Yeah.
That's so long to keep under wraps.
Yeah, how hard is it to keep that under wraps for? I mean, you've been doing it for
It's
a
actually
little
not that difficult. You just don't tell anybody.
Yeah. So they ask you what you're working on, and you just say the same.
Well, I'm
stuff
working
as
on
usual.
so many projects.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm just like, Walking Dead and Vince podcast. That's keeping me busy, But yeah, I've been working on that and Oblivion Song for a while. And so yeah, it's easy for me to keep a secret. Chris Burnham, the artist on Die Die Die, a little harder for him. He had numerous friends that, they'd be like, so what are you working on now? And he'd be like,
Stuff.
this thing.
Can't tell you.
And I'd be like, really? You're not going to tell me? You're like, whatever. But yeah, and then he had like close friends that he like works in a studio with that knew what he was working on because they could look over his shoulder and see it. And then I'm worried about them keeping the secret. But yeah, I mean, some people at Image knew, people at Skybound knew, but for the most part, we just kind of kept it under wraps.
Yeah, because that's a cool way to drop something, and I like the fact that, like, when you look in the previews guide, you can see covers, and it sounds like you guys aren't going to be releasing covers. So, I mean, we saw the second issue cover at the Insiders thing.
Yes.
But I mean, you're not going to. Sometimes covers really spoil stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're trying to bring that sense of discovery back into the comic shops. When I was younger and I started shopping in comic shops, I didn't know what the hell was on the shelf when I came in. I wasn't looking at Previews magazine. There was no internet. That walk from the door to the new rack was like, magical because you would kind of see the comics in a distance and, God, is that the new Spider-Man? I don't know what's happening in that issue. And what's this new book? Like, I've never heard of that. And, Infinity Gauntlet is a good example of that. I learned of the existence of Infinity Gauntlet by seeing it on a rack. And I was like, holy crap, there's like a big purple dude. It's got a glove and there's like hundreds of, like, all the Marvel characters are in this thing. And I don't even know what a gauntlet is. I was a kid. I was like, what the hell's a gauntlet?
I still haven't read that.
Yeah. Still to this day, I'm like I've seen Clint Eastwood's The Gauntlet. Isn't that a thing where you like run through a bunch of people and they're trying to stop you from running through them? Like, it's not a glove. Is it a glove? I'm not very educated, but But anyway, and comics make me confused about things. But anyway, I wanted to bring that back. I wanted people to be able to go into the store and go, oh, like this is a comic I'd never heard of. And for the entire series, like I don't want people to know what's on the cover before they show up at the store and see the cover. Could backfire on me. Could be a massive failure. Could be a big mistake. And then I just won't do it again.
I can tell you that at my local shop, half the people in there were in there for that book.
Oh, that's
To
great.
the point where they were only, I went to buy 3 of the word bubbles, and
Uh-huh.
they told me, no, I can only buy 1. Because there were so many people coming in for the book. And then I met up with some guys who couldn't figure out what the difference between ones are. I was like, it's a word bubbles. And they're like, oh, and everybody was going to multiple comic book shops. On the same street, there's 3 comic books to get. There's Kamikaze, Yesteryear, and SoCal Comics on the same street, and we were all going. And then I just bought them all at Comic-Con.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Great. So it worked out.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. I mean, response has been pretty overwhelmingly positive. So, it seems like it's working out so far. So good on us. I don't know what I'm saying.
I mean, good for now, right?
Yeah.
You want to ask a question, Alan? I know you said you can come over here and sit down next to me.
Aw.
Watch out for this cup in the floor. I don't want you to make a mess.
It's empty.
It's good. I like those cups. It's a good cup.
It's a Target cup. I love
Everybody
Target.
knows you like Target.
I do like Target.
Who doesn't?
Of course. So, as a fan of some of your work,
Sure. Only some.
not
That's
all of
okay.
it.
That's
Well,
great. No, it's
Not
fine.
100%
there's some
quality.
stuff that's not
Pick and choose, man.
designed to me, so I'm not going to read it. So.
Not a big fan of Super Dinosaur, then that's fine.
We are.
I'm sorry, I don't have kids yet.
No.
Don't
okay.
brown nose, Robert.
Sean
But-
Makowitz gave Parker props for actually during the insiders meeting say something about. He's like, "We're Super Dinosaur."
That's awesome.
That is cool. Do you find that as busy as you are with all these projects that you are working on, now that you've completed Invincible, are you at a place where you have a little bit more breathing room, or do you still feel stretched out?
No, stretched out, I don't know. But I foolishly started Die and Oblivion Song well before Invincible was over. So, there was a time before we wrapped up Invincible where I was like, oh, God, how am I going to do this? Oh, no, this is not great. But I pulled it through. It's not I seem to be slotting in new projects every time something ends, or I do like a Hydra thing where every time a project dies, I replace it with 2 projects. We'll see how long that goes. But I'm keeping busy. I'm not quite overwhelmed, but it's getting there.
I see that, and I guess my follow-up is, what's going on with Outcast, the show? What's going on with
Season
Cinemax
2
and
just
that?
started. I need to watch
Season
it.
2 just started this past Friday. Cinemax decided to hold that for a year because they thought it would be cool. I don't know that I agree with that decision.
Good job, Cinemax.
But there are some corporate, inner workings going on at the network, and so we're airing season 2, and hopefully, if that gets enough ratings, we'll come back for season 3. But we're still kind of up in the air at this point.
Awesome. Well, keep it up.
Thank you.
Liking it.
Great, good to hear.
We'll be watching it. I haven't watched the season 2 premiere yet because we were at Comic-Con.
How dare you?
I know.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, we're awful people.
You have a question, Matt?
That's
No?
it. I'm leaving.
This conversation's
Are you-
over.
Are you all caught up and everything? Nope. Okay, I'm out.
Well,
you next year,
I've got
asshole.
to ask a lot of questions in the past, so anybody that's... You guys are all here helping me out.
Yeah, I mean, I answered the question about how I pee, so literally, I'll say, yeah, literally. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that are off limits, but hopefully, you guys won't figure it out.
Well, he pretty much touched on it earlier about like what are the questions that annoy you the most, and just through my major and everything, through college, and then the comics class I took with Bendis, and all the people that were just like brought in as guests, they hear the same questions all the time, like, what are your inspirations?
Yeah.
How do you write this type of character? What like a strong lead and what have you? And I suppose if I had any type of writer's question to you, it'd be like, where do you find the time? Like, what type of schedule do you set for yourself to find time to do this? Or do you have a goal like, I'm going to write 250 words today, or I'm going to write, stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, the way I work, it's different when I'm writing a pilot or episode of a TV show, but for comics, I try to write a number of pages a day, whether that be 3 or 10 or, who knows. Sometimes it's only 1, Those days are a little depressing. But a comic book script page can be, 200 words or 2,000 words, depending on how many panels and what's going on and what you have to describe to the artist. So it's hard to gauge things by word. So I manage my productivity by trying to keep track of how many actual like comic pages I've written. I have to give a lot of credit to Eric Larson, because when I started working in comics, I was doing Battle Pope, and I was designing ads, and I was lettering my own book, and I was on the phone with the printer all the time. So I was the publisher, I was the marketing director, I was the writer. I did layouts on the pages. I inked some of the pages. But just working on that one book, I was working, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, I would literally be at my computer until I went to sleep, and then I would, wake up the next day and go straight to the computer, checking emails, doing all kinds of stuff. My life was pretty terrible. But things were, moving up, and I was getting new projects and doing things, and it was great. But when my son was getting ready to be born 12 years ago, I was like, man, I gotta cut back on projects. I gotta figure out some way to like have a life. I gotta start taking weekends off. I gotta start taking nights off. Like, I have to actually see my kids. My wife doesn't care if I ever see her, but the kids, that's important. And so I was talking to Eric Larson, and he said, yeah, I keep banker's hours. Like, what are you doing? And when he was talking to me about this, it was like shortly after a time where he was penciling, inking, and writing Savage Dragon every month, and he was doing he did 3 issues of the Mighty Thor at Marvel, and he did 3 issues of Spider-Man at Marvel that he penciled, and so he was essentially drawing 3 books, and he was like, yeah, I would work on Dragon for 2 weeks out of the month, and then I'd spend a week on Spider-Man and a week on Thor. And he was like, and I would just, I'd work 9 to 5 every day, and I was like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, how are you doing this? And he said, look, man, the work will take as much time as you allow it. He was like, if you say I'm going to give this work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, well, it's going to take 16 hours, 7 days a week. If you give it 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you will eventually learn how to get the work you need to get done in that period. You'll figure out ways to work faster. You'll figure out shortcuts. You'll figure out ways to improve efficiency. Like, he's like, just try it. Like, every day at 5 o'clock, just go, well, I'm getting up. And you start to realize, like, you'll spend like 20 minutes less on YouTube here. You'll check your email a little faster here. You'll daydream like 8% less. You'll look out the window fewer times. And it does start to make you a little bit more efficient. And so I do, I stop at 6. I don't usually stop at 5. And I don't necessarily get into the office every day at 9. Like, some days it's earlier, some days it's a little later. But I don't work weekends. And, it just gets to a point where that clock, like, just kind of haunts you every minute of every day. You're like, oh, this end point is coming. As long as you have that end point chasing you down every day, then you'll get stuff done. So that's how I work. That's what helps me. If you've got a day job and you're trying to fit stuff in, it can be more difficult. But just say, you know what? Every night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write something. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be something that you're proud of. Just write something, and eventually you'll get to a point where you've trained your body to, like, click your brain on at that time and do something of some note. And eventually, you'll write something that you're proud of or something. I don't know. Maybe you won't. Who knows? But that's what I would say.
Nice. And just real quick, Robert.
Yeah, go ahead.
So another one I wanted to ask is, would you say that there's a bit of similarity between writing scripts for comics and writing script for television, or I guess even film?
The way you tell the stories is very similar. The way you write them down, for me, is very different. Doesn't have to be. I'm probably doing it wrong. I'll say that right off the bat. But the way I write my scripts, I write them like an email to the artist. I want this guy over here. I want this guy here. I want the reader to think this is happening. I want them to see this, but not this. Move this guy this way. This guy's going to be doing that. Like, it's all very casual. Sometimes I'll go, change my mind, put this guy over here, but I'll keep all the other stuff I wrote because I want them to see the thought process that went into it, because I feel like if they know that I wanted them standing over here at first, but now I want them standing over here, they'll understand why. So my scripts are a mess for comics. for television, for movies, your scripts are meant to be read by other people. They're the first way that someone encounters the story. And so if it's like, we're going to light this guy from behind and throw him over here and do like that would not read well. And so you actually have to treat your television and movie scripts as a product, almost like a novel where the words themselves are, giving someone a sense of the story so that they can judge the story and not just the blueprint to make that story. So yeah, my comic scripts would probably be better if I wrote them that way.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
How are you managing that when you had a day job and you were trying to do comics and stuff?
Well, I was just doing the one comic.
Okay.
But also I was absolutely fucking terrible at my day job. So yeah, I mean, I would get it done, but for the most part, my day job was hiding like behind a shelf somewhere and like writing notes for my comic. So
Were you a gigolo?
I worked at a warehouse. And,
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I'm cagey about this, but what are they going to do? Sue me? I worked in a warehouse filling orders for a lighting distributor. So you'd come in and buy light fixtures, and a lot of times it would be for like a construction person who's like building a house, and so you'd need like 17 of these wall sconces and 18 of these ceiling fans and all this wire and all this, and I'd get like a big printout, and I'd go and I'd grab it all and I'd put it on a pallet, and you had to do that in some kind of time, or else you'd get noticed and they'd be like, "You're slow." I did that for a while, and then I, got to a point where I was assembling light fixtures for their showroom, and so I basically stood at a desk all day assembling light fixtures, and I'd like had a list of light fixtures that they needed out there, and I do like a certain amount of those a day. So there were some gaps in there where I could do a little bit of plotting and things like that, but I did a pretty good job at that. And then the purchasing agent job came up, and that was a desk job, and I gunned for that real hard. I was like, oh man, purchasing agent job, because I thought it'd be more money, and it was, but very insignificant amount of money. But when I got the job, what I didn't realize is that the person who had the job before me was a genius, and she had been doing the job for like 15 years, and she was the only person in the entire company that knew what the fucking job entailed. And so they set me down, and I had known her, and she had told me she was going to be quitting, and she was a bit of a character, but so I wasn't that surprised when I found out. But like, they set me down my first day, and they were like, so here's your job. You have to get on this computer and find out what we have in stock. The computer will tell you how fast we sell what's in stock. You do a little math problem, and then you go and you order the gaps. So if you have 8 of an item and you sell 20 of them a week, and it takes 1 week to sell 20 of them, you need to order 12 of them. Or if you want to have a little bit more in stock, you order like 13, 14. Like, who cares? What I'm saying is it took an hour. It took like an hour to do like an entire day's worth of work, if even that. And I was like, are you kidding? That's really all I did? And they're like, yep. And I was like, great. Oh man, this is going to be tough, but I think I can handle it. All right, let's do this. And then I was like, I'm done. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, they have no clue. They have no clue. And so, that's when I was running my publishing company. I'd close my door and I'd sit on the phone with, distributors and printers. I'd talk to Diamond. I'd talk to Cable Corps in Canada who printed the book. I'd call artists on the long distance at the company. I'd be talking on the phone to Corey Walker. The first time I ever talked to Corey Walker on the phone was I called him from that office, and we'd be real interested in you doing some issues Battle Pope. Really seen your art online, really love it. And I would just keep my door shut, and I'd hear like my boss like walking, and then I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I got to call you back. I got a thing that came up. All right, cool, great. And they'd come in, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. Don't worry, I'm gonna have it done. Cool, thanks. They'd go, and call somebody back. So I was just terrible, and I don't talk about this publicly because I feel bad about it now. But it's not like they don't know, because I quit and they literally did not replace me. The person that ran the company just started doing that job on the side while she was running the company. And so I guess at some point they realized. But yeah, that's how I had a day job and did comics on the side. I should have never quit.
You still have 2 jobs.
I could still be making a sweet like $28K a year or whatever they were paying me on the side for doing this. I should pay them back.
Pay the back.
I said last time I drive a truck, and anytime I have ideas for anything, whether it to be the podcast, a game, or anything that we do, I always
Call Katrina.
I call Katrina and I tell no.
Write it down.
I make a bunch of stops every day, so as soon as I stop, I pull out my phone and I write out ideas down. So I was just curious, as you know, a person that has a day job, how you fit all that in. But doing
By stealing time from your company.
yeah, apparently,
You heard it here, folks.
yeah. No, I don't steal the time, but I edit this podcast on my lunches every day, which is 7 hours is going to take me.
That's a long lunch.
yeah. Did you have a question?
Going to lunch.
Yeah, I'm going to lunch.
I'm going lunch.
You have a question, Katrina?
I don't think I have a question.
Comment?
What?
What do you
Do I
have?
What? I bring nothing. I bring tech advice.
random questions. Go on.
Yeah.
Oh, this asshole.
Mr. Kirkman, if you had a sound effect for your life, what would that sound effect be?
For my life.
And don't pick fart.
It would be,
We determined Anthony. Wait, whose was womp womp womp?
Earlier today, it was me.
Eric.
Okay, yeah, that's Eric's sound effect.
Poor guy.
Low tuba.
You got any questions, Corey?
No, I don't come prepared.
Yeah, we're all just like we're at hour 5.
yeah, this is great.
Yeah, we just slowed down. We should have just had you on the phone.
How's Coronado?
Coronado's pretty great.
Are you in Hotel Del?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Love the Hotel Del. It's full of ghosts.
Yeah.
Are you
so
staying
they
in the
say.
haunted room?
I mean,
have those?
Probably.
Alan made
Supposedly
an effort.
they do, yeah.
Yeah, Alan made an effort to stay at how many different haunted rooms?
I've been to a lot of different haunted rooms.
Get on that mic. Let's talk about ghosts.
Let's do this. So I'm all about.
Now I want to know. Do you believe in ghosts?
Not really.
That's his sound effect.
Yeah, I'm falling. I don't answer the question. How long can I keep this up? I know people that have seen ghosts, and I believe them because they are intelligent people who are not crazy. I know people that have very vivid ghost stories and all kinds of stuff that they've encountered. But to me, I'm like, if a person dies and their soul roams the earth, what part of their soul is like, I will wear period clothing from where, like, where's the clothing coming from? Like, I don't understand.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
so I'm like, all right, I saw this little boy and he was wearing a shirt, and I'm like, where's this? Is there like the shirt imprinted on his soul? Like so it doesn't make any like.
Well,
be
it's,
naked.
it's either that or they're hanging dong.
Yeah, sure. So they should look like the ghost from the Ghostbusters logo. They should be like a image of a person that's kind of like a spirity, like whatever. So anyway, the way I reconcile that is I'm like, what we think of as ghosts is, hey, it's got to be something else. It's got to be some kind of scientific explanation. It's got to be like, like time slipped up and we're like seeing something that's happening 10 years ago or whatever, but it's like some like remnant of what happened and we see it and it looks like it's a person walking around, but it's really just that person 10 years ago getting a cup of coffee. And we're like, oh, look at that. And there are like scientific explanations for like how that could happen. And I think there's a lot about science that we don't necessarily know. So
That's an interesting perspective.
so who knows?
Mostly probably just carbon monoxide.
I think we're quick to jump to the supernatural because that's just how our brains are. Working in healthcare, nurses I think are the most superstitious profession I've ever worked with, and even in school when I worked in some of these older retirement homes, every place you've ever been to has been haunted. Everyone's always seen something. One place I worked at, all they saw was a disembodied pair of pants that was 8 feet tall. Like these are the stories I would hear. Because I work night shift.
That's great.
I work night shift, so this is when all the stuff happens and everyone's imagination runs wild.
Yeah.
I mean, San Diego, we live in what's supposedly the most active haunted house in
Whaley House?
Yeah, the Whaley House.
Have you been to the Whaley House?
I have not. I ain't messing around with no ghosts.
It's in Old Town.
It's in Old Town? I've been to Old Town.
Yeah, it's on the main drag in Old Town, and it's got an interesting history.
I might have been there,
If you took
actually.
pictures down there, you might have seen some orbs in your pictures.
Yeah,
Ooh.
go back and
Yeah,
check.
yeah.
We had I went to high school with this group called Mega 64,
Okay.
and they do like video game spoofs.
Okay.
And one of the guys dressed up as Luigi with a vacuum and went in there and started hunting
Cleaning
people.
house?
They were not amused.
That's
They
good.
were.
Well, if
they
he
were-
actually got rid of the ghost, I mean,
After that, there were no more orbs in people's pictures, so I don't know if it
Job well
worked.
done. Just have
So if
vacuum the
you're-
souls up.
Dealing with Conjuring 3, it'll just be them dressing up like Luigi and vacuuming ghosts out of the place.
Couple cleaner ladies.
I never thought about that. Why would a ghost be wearing clothes? I
Right?
Yeah.
like it. The ghost is modest.
Do they put them on? Like,
They give you a selection of clothes after you die, and you could
A,
could
B, or
pick.
C.
Well, so and you see now that there are these communities of people that these pseudoscientists that say that they're paranormal scientists, and all they are is just walking around with with like an EVP app on their phone.
my favorite thing about those people, especially the ones that are on TV shows, is they get scared.
Yeah,
And it's like, you're not, like, it'd be like a doctor going, "Oh, blood!
you're selling.
No!" Like, no, that's not what you're here for.
They're selling drama, right? So
Yeah.
I've been pretty, like, in my youth, I was a lot more outspoken about being skeptical, and they invited me to do an overnight at the Whaley House. And I can tell you anecdotally, I have seen nothing, and I have
Okay.
put myself in all sorts of situations. I stayed at Lizzie Borden's house. There's all sorts of haunted hotels all over Arizona. Tombstone.
I've got a ghost story.
Here, I went to the haunted mine. I used to live near the haunted mine.
You're really trying to find
did
something.
In Kingman. I was a travel nurse for a while, so just all these different places I would go. I'm like, okay, this place is supposed to be haunted. Okay, I waited 2 years to get the haunted room at the Hotel Del. I'm like, if I'm going to talk to the dead, I might as well get something made by Parker Brothers and bring a Ouija board with me.
Exactly.
And the house I live in now is my grandmother's house, and I come
It's
from a
haunted.
very, very religious family, and my dog stopped.
It's because
going
you
down
played
the
Dungeons
hallway.
and Dragons.
So I'll get to that. My mom is convinced that because of my dalliances in the dark arts and the fact that I play Dungeons and Dragons, that my house is now haunted,
Oh, okay.
and that my dog is seeing a ghost, and that's why he won't go down the hallway. That's just too small for him,
Yeah.
because it's an older house with a smaller hallway, and he's a big
The
dog.
ghost just hangs out in the hallway.
Yeah, he doesn't go down the hallway anymore.
Really, he's just traumatized from.
He's just traumatized. Yeah. My dog is a rescue, so he's very neurotic. And, yeah, he lived in a shelter for 2 years.
He doesn't
and
like
was a
dogs. Why are you
stray.
talking about dogs?
Yeah, I don't want to hear about this.
Yeah.
Get back to the ghosts.
I was at the Whaley House, and I was looking into one of the rooms because the rooms are like partitioned off with like plastic, and I scooted back and I bumped into somebody, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me," and then there was nobody there.
No one there.
There was nobody there,
That's interesting.
and I say that as a person that doesn't really believe in ghosts.
Well, I lived in a house that was somewhat haunted, I guess, is what people would say. In Richmond, Kentucky, I saw a faucet come on one time from a distance, and I don't know how you explain that with pipes and stuff. Like, I didn't necessarily see the handle turn, but like I was in the room and I had left the bathroom, and then I turned around and because I heard the water come on, and I was like, "Oh, that's a thing that happened."
Were you living alone?
No. It was my son was already born. My
Okay.
wife was there. So yeah. But
Did
I
you
was,
leave?
I worked. Yeah, no, I don't live there anymore. But we didn't move because of that stuff. It was just like, huh. It's not if it was in like the movies where there were like bees attacking us or something was like scaring us
The
or
walls
something. I
beating
would
and telling you to get out.
Yeah, I would have left, but you're gonna turn my faucet on every now and then. Like I can live with that. But there was one time I was recording a podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but I was doing it with Scott Kurtz, and it was very late when we were recording it, and I heard my wife come into the room and go, "Robert," and so I turned around and there was no one in the room, and I was like, "That was really weird." But then when the podcast came out, I listened to it. And you can hear someone say Robert like at that moment when I heard it, and so I don't know what that was, but so that happened.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The one time I was actually scared
But
is
that could have been someone saying, "Oh, is Robert on the podcast?" Like in any number of the other phones that were like hooked up to the podcast. Like who knows?
I was spending the night at my friend's house whose dad is big in the church, and he had performed exorcisms.
Okay.
I don't know if you went to church as a kid, right? Did you go to a church that did exorcisms?
I witnessed an exorcism.
Did you
as a
really?
child. Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, now I'm going to stop my story.
No, please go ahead.
Well, he had performed exorcisms, and we were spending the night at my friend's house, and the parents weren't there, but all the cabinets in the laundry room fell off the wall,
Oh, that's
which could have just been whatever. But then we heard a baby crying, and their house was kind of not around anything.
Uh-huh.
Annabelle.
Yeah, so we were all. I mean, as a 16-year-old kid, I was terrified.
It's the Bell Witch.
But that's not as big. Let's go back. Let's take a step back real quick. You witnessed an exorcism.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 12.
Was it on you?
No, it wasn't on me. Maybe it should have been.
what the
No, it
demon is
wasn't.
now.
I mean, again, I was 12, and like my memory is, like foggy. I'm sure, but I remember it just, being somewhat like the movie The Exorcist.
Oh, just like that?
No heads turning around or vomiting, but there was a lot of growling and screaming, and there were a few people. I went to a really cruddy little Pentecostal church in Kentucky that they basically rented out the left side of a duplex. I have no idea who lived in the other side of the duplex. I have no idea what the heck was going on in that place. Again, 12, very foggy memory. I don't know how it worked. Maybe the pastor and his wife lived next door and they used the side of the duplex as a church. I have no idea. But there was a person there that was hiding in the bathroom, and they wouldn't come out of the bathroom. And so and they weren't a regular. It was somebody that somebody had brought, and the pastor was worried about them, and they were yelling and I'm not coming out, And it was a woman who suddenly had a deep voice. I don't know, whatever. Looking back, I feel like it was somebody playing a prank. It would have been a very easy thing to do. But they pulled her out, and she was sweating and terrified. And they took her to I guess the pastor was like, I recognize this. I know what to do here. I have no idea. And they took him to the front of the church, and they said a bunch of shit and exorcised the person. I don't know. It was weird.
Did they speak in tongues?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was she in her early 20s or late teens?
Yeah. Because what was she having, an epileptic seizure or something?
No,
Help me out, nurse.
But schizophrenia, usually undiagnosed, you start showing symptoms in your late teens, early 20s.
Okay.
So, and that's because I work in the emergency room, I see that all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of the psychotic delusions they have are usually religious in nature. How many times people have clawed their insides because they think they're giving birth to a demon, or they think they've been raped by the devil, or they how many times they've shoved religious objects up there to protect themselves. It's been
All right. Yeah, we're going to a dark place today.
Yeah.
But
How many exorcisms does the hospital do?
Huh?
You guys do a lot of exorcisms?
No. I mean, the hospital I work for now is technically a Catholic hospital, but
so they would do an exorcism.
my hands have been blessed.
Really?
Yeah, usually on Nurses Week, some of the Catholic hospitals, they'll send people down.
Can you touch me
Bless
on
my
the
hands.
shoulder or something after the podcast?
I probably could.
You got to give me some of them blessed hands.
I probably could do some sort of turn undead
Oh, okay.
ability. Yeah.
I like that.
What about just a shoulder rub?
Yeah.
I'd be down for a shoulder rub, especially after
This
this.
shoulder rub is blessed.
Yeah. But yeah, I see it all the time. So I'm very quick to not jump to the supernatural.
Right.
As much as I am a fan of all horror is my favorite genre. I'm all about that.
You don't say.
I don't believe in it.
Sure.
So it's just kind of funny how quick I see people jump to that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, there are things that we don't know, but there are things that we do know, and you're dismissing what we do know.
So tell me that girl at the
Agreed.
church was not cured.
Well, my mom's side of the family is very religious, and when I was about 10, 11, 12, they were part of this Pentecostal church.
Mm-hmm.
They try and pull that stuff. They try and convince my mom that I was, hanging out with the wrong crowd, and I was with the devil. My dad was Mormon, so
I don't doubt that you were hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Oh.
But I don't know that the devil was in that crowd.
I don't think the devil was in that crowd. I think the devil just likes a little fun, just like everyone else.
Devil's got better things to do. Come on, guys.
Yeah. I mean, hell's got a better soundtrack, right?
You would think.
You would think. But yeah, so I have my share of experiences with that as well. But I've never, I think from a very young age, I've been very non-spiritual and quick to kind of dismiss that and stay more in the in the physical world.
That's
Yeah.
accurate.
In the physical world.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that made me think of when I was in high school. I got in trouble for vandalizing.
Mm-hmm.
We were, and I say this, I've talked about this on here before. Is I was sure on time. Okay, we got in trouble for throwing oranges at cars, and I was sitting in the back seat in the middle, so I wasn't throwing any, and all I wanted to go see was Shrek, and
Yeah.
nobody wanted to go, so I ended up throwing. And I'm surprised my grandma didn't say that I was influenced by some of the weird stuff that I was into.
Yeah.
Do you ever get in trouble as a kid?
All the time.
Let us hear a story of sometime when you got in trouble. It doesn't have to be throwing oranges at cars. Although the cops told us that somebody had defaced a Jewish church. What is a Jewish church called? Synagogue. And that we were going to get charged with a hate crime.
Oh. Wow.
We didn't. It was just cops trying to scare the hell out of us, but it worked.
Yeah, that's no good.
No.
No, I never got in any trouble with the law, as they say. But no, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the worst time I ever got in trouble was this is boring, a very boring life. But my little brother tore up a couple of my comics, and so I went and I tore up a couple of drawings that he had done just to get back at him. I think I was 5 years older than him, so I was probably 12, and he was whatever 12 minus 5 is. Was that 7? Yeah, there we go. Anyway, I'm not great at math, but yeah, my dad was like, "Your comics are nonsense, garbage, and this is art that he made. Like, what's the matter with you?" And I got punished for like a week or something. They were always very. That's probably why I'm so well behaved. Like they're not like me. They were like, "You did something bad. You're punished for a week, and we're sticking to that. And a week later, we'll talk." And then I'd be like, "Well, Jesus, this is my week. This sucks." So.
Before I start making your mama jokes, did your parents still around?
My mother passed away a few years ago, but she was alive when I was a kid.
So she got to see you, put out all the comics, and then that's cool. You see your dad very often?
Yeah. From time to like multiple times a year.
Does he live out there, or does he live here?
He lives in Kentucky.
Okay, yeah. I was just curious. My dad lives in Florida. Not that that matters to anybody that's listening.
My dad lived in Florida, and and then I talked him into moving to Kentucky because my in-laws are in Kentucky.
So you get to visit at the same time?
Yeah, it was a whole thing. It's like, oh, I got to go to Florida. I got to go to Kentucky. I got to make sure everybody sees all the grandparents, and but then we were able to move people to Kentucky and make it all one thing.
Nice. They live next door to each other?
No. That would be weird. they're
okay. What's weird is Katrina's grandma from her mom and her grandpa from her dad, like, hang out like all the time. Like I don't quite understand the.
I could see how two grandpas can get along.
It's a grandma and grandpa.
Grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And from different sides of the. Well, her grandma's like 93, and her grandpa's like nobody knows how old he is.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a mystery. We can't.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. You have any? You have anything to ask, Corey? I got a comic book question to ask before.
Ask.
What are you reading right? Yeah.
Are you gonna do anything this entire hour?
No.
I'm just here.
Why are you here? Why do you have headphones on? You got a mic in front of you?
It's not plugged in.
It's so he doesn't have to listen.
I'm helping.
Whoa.
The damn dog again, Anthony. Anthony.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Anthony. What are you reading right now that's not
not my own stuff?
Yeah, not that your own stuff that you're enjoying. Just to kind of give a recommendation out to some people.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Donny Cates's recent Doctor Strange run. I enjoyed that stuff with Gabriel Walta. That stuff was really good. Reading Skyward at Image. I really like that book.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a new book. Lee Garbett draws it. I don't know the name of the writer.
Well, you can't know everybody.
No. I should have pretended. I'm sorry. But he's a hotshot. He's adapting the comic into a TV show. He doesn't need me to know his name. But I don't know. I really like Kill or Be Killed. Just wrapped up. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. That's a great book. Love Deadly Class. Got to get ready for that TV show.
I saw the posters at the booth and stuff.
Well, it was on buses and trains and everything the whole weekend. So
I'm really far behind on everything I'm reading, and it's just like I've been on summer break, so I've been trying to catch up. So I caught up on. I finished. I don't know when Extremity ended, but I finished that. I caught up on Redneck, and I
was in Dallas when that finished.
Yeah, I feel bad.
March.
We met Daniel Warren Johnson. That guy couldn't have been nicer. I couldn't, but he was just
really unfortunate.
Why?
Yeah, it's just making me look bad.
Yeah, he was. You know what's funny is him and Otley were signing at the Felix art booth. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's who sells their art and stuff. Yeah. But I went up to Otley and his commission list was full. I want to get him to draw Rick Sanchez in Negan's costume with a blue and yellow bat.
Okay.
So it's like his sidekick is Morty.
Oh, okay.
Which is Lucille. And he's dressed as... But his commission list was full. I was like, damn it.
Should have said, "Hey, man, squeeze one out."
Yeah.
What are you doing? just kind of
Well,
nudge
he
it.
can't now. When we used to go to him, we'd walk up and talk to him. Now that he's the artist on Spider-Man, there's a line,
Oh, well.
he's all fancy.
He's moving up in the world.
Yeah,
Good
I
to,
guess.
Good to know.
Yeah, that book was fun. He seems like he was born to draw
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's been sketching Spider-Man on the back of Invincible pages for 15 years, so,
Oh, wrong story.
might as well draw them on the front.
With you probably can't say anything, but with as much as your interest as all your books get, is there any interest in Die already? Or you probably can't say anything.
I mean, there is plenty of interest.
Okay, I was just curious.
Stay tuned.
I kind of explained it as a in between James Bond and what did I say, Kingsman? I can't
There's some
remember.
similarities
Yeah,
there.
well, no, it's like
I try to think of it as like if Quentin Tarantino did a Mission Impossible movie.
there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's you wrote it, and that's pretty spot on. Yeah.
But like it's edgy, it's goofy, it's wacky, it's extremely violent, but
It's fun.
it's still an
Parker
espionage
liked it.
story.
I'm kidding. I
Parker
don't let my
likes
kids
it.
read that kind of stuff.
The first issue is a little more tame than the other ones.
Really?
A little bit.
Holy crap!
A little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on. The only thing that my son has read of yours is like the first 15 issues of Invincible and Super Dinosaur.
Oh, okay.
So we started getting into further into Invincible, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna pack this up for a little while and get back to it when you're a little older.
Yeah. See you when you're 17.
Yeah. We're at an hour, so I don't want to.
Is this hour 5? We wrapping up?
We're wrapping up hour 5, so
All right. You guys only have 7 more to go.
seven more? Wait, no. No.
I'm hitting my second wind.
Are you?
Yeah.
All that ghost stuff brought you back.
It's because you got pizza. I haven't eaten pizza yet.
Oh,
Eat the pizza.
see?
Well, I can't. I'm in the middle of I call it. I'm using interview with quotation marks because nothing I do is quite.
Not quite in the middle.
Yeah, we didn't go as far as how do you wipe, but I mean we got the bathroom question in. So
It's true. I'm happy for that.
yeah, I like that you hadn't. You were like me when I heard him talk about going through the hole. I'd never heard of anybody.
Try
Well,
it.
as a kid, I remember thinking, "What's the hole for?"
Yeah, I've never used it. I can't say that now. I tried it after we discussed it.
How'd it feel?
It didn't seem natural.
You didn't get piss in your face, did you?
No.
You just gotta give it
I
time.
know you guys already spoke about that, but I was sitting over here and I really wanted to chime in, but when I worked at Walmart, it wasn't uncommon for me to walk into the bathroom during my break and see some old dude, he just straight up drop trowel, pants around his ankles, bare ass.
That's the
taking a
same
look at
old
the
man that's
urinal.
naked in the locker room at the gym, like
Yeah,
all
like
the time.
blow drying his
No-
balls.
Yeah,
and you're
no
like, "Oh,
shame.
dude. What are you
You
doing?
got a towel on it. And just
Yeah.
Back in
So
my
that,
day.
that begs the question, like, once we're old, are we just eventually going to reach that fuck it stage where
I don't know, because I remember elementary school where you'd walk into the bathroom and there'd be that one weird kid that's peeing at the urinal with his
Just like
pants
that,
around his
yeah.
ankles,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think those people just grow up and they just don't.
They still
and
don't
and
care.
no one ever goes,
Nobody ever says shit to
dude,
him?
that's not normal.
Tap on the shoulder.
I think also, I know I was guilty of this as a kid. Whenever you were in the bathroom and someone who was using the stall and dropping a deuce, I was always giggling. So whenever somebody else had to like poop, so
I had shame until I had a vasectomy, and now I'm like, I don't care about anything anymore. I'll drop trout. I
Someone has
just don't
literally
care.
cut my testicles
Yeah.
open.
Once you've had that done, you really don't care anymore. Used to go into the physical and be like,
That's an endorsement.
yeah, this dude's gonna.
Once you've had this done, you really don't care anymore.
You just don't. Something clicks in your brain. You get the phantom pains and
Oh, God.
yeah.
Phantom pains?
Yeah.
sometimes
I'm never
Yeah.
doing it. Never doing
And
it.
then there's the chance that it could grow back.
snip, snap, snip, snap.
Yeah.
Maybe grow up a little bit bigger.
I really
what got
want
cut
to
off?
have bigger vas
Not to,
deferens.
not to
Yeah.
mention a hydrocele or a spermacele that can develop. And-
What?
Okay, let's stop.
No, nurse. No. No. Stop it.
It's gonna,
I don't want to get your anxiety.
No,
For-
no,
it's
no.
gonna explode.
Texting you like 10 times next week about his phantom balls.
Okay,
Your
so
testicles are haunted, Robert.
we are donating this money from this raffle to a charity that deals with children.
Uh-huh.
But this episode is going to be called, even though you were on it, it's going to be called Phantom Balls.
Oh, great.
I mean, it has to be, right?
Love it.
Could that be the hashtag for the hour?
Okay. So what we're doing is for people that donate $1, we're putting $1 in a raffle. We're giving out books. So, and we've been doing hashtags for extra entries and stuff. So this one will be hashtag Phantom Balls.
Phantom Balls.
Yeah, and
I
you
like
guys
it.
can
like
enter
it.
it.
Hashtag 9to5nerds.
Hashtag 95. You know what? We talked to the guy from Child's Play on here, and I said, hey, this is what our podcast is about. Are you okay with us being associated with it, trying to raise money? He's like, yeah, we don't care.
That's
I'm
good.
like, yeah.
Like,
Okay,
they just
what's
want,
it
they just
doing
want
about?
money.
Yeah. It was much more involved with that charity than I thought than just, helping kids get over boredom while being in the hospital. It's a cool charity. So,
Alan was showing me the website and everything and stuff about video games and kids in different age
what
groups.
video games are good for anxiety, what games are good for
Oh.
pain management and stuff like that. So it's really,
They got the science down.
yeah, they got the
Yeah, they
science.
did
down.
the research with UCSD. It was looking at
That's
the
cool.
peer-reviewed nerdy stuff on it.
But
My son did an experiment in school where you had to put your foot in a bucket of cold water for as long as you could, and then he had like a little iPhone game, and he would log how long you could keep your foot in the bucket, and then he would give you the iPhone game, and you'd put your foot in the bucket and play the game, and see how long you could keep it in the water while you were playing the game. And I gotta be honest, when he came up with the plan, I was like, "But you put my foot in a bucket of cold water all day long? Like, what are you talking about?" Not so. It is extremely unpleasant. I put it in. I was like, "What is this? This is terrible." So you last like 6 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever without the video game, but with the video game, it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 times as long. It's crazy.
I can't handle cold. Like you get those cold pains when you step in cold water or something, and I'm immediately like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, it's awful.
No, I'm not doing that.
It's awful. So, hashtag Phantom Balls.
Yeah, hashtag. Yeah, we're far in here. I need some pizza. So, thank you for being on.
Oh, this is great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always fun. He's gonna be back every week for the next 6 weeks, so you guys
Sounds
will be
good.
able to hear. I'm just kidding, but
I'm not.
no. yeah. I'm sure your family will be ecstatic that you were ditching them on vacation.
Anytime I can get away from my family is a welcome endeavor.
No, but we really appreciate it, and the booth donated some books for us to raffle off and stuff
Great.
too. So thank you very much, and that'll be this episode.
Very cool.